The current spoiler warning level is Azure.
Friends and folks, for this episode, you're looking at a spoiler warning level of Azure. We're talking about the 1986 game Cruise Chaser Blassty, which is not really a story-based game, and we don't talk about any of that stuff. It's just, a cool robot from a weird old game. Please enjoy the episode. Hello, friends and folks, and welcome back to Mechanista NG. It's Dylan's week here on the show. I'm Six Detmar.
I'm Dylan.
It's
So
your week.
we're doing a bit of an inverse of our usual thing. I'm just trying to get a good picture of this. I do have art for this episode, so yeah, it's my choice,
Cool.
and because it's my choice, I can't make a guess because I'm gonna know what it is. So we need to have Six make a guess. So, so these are based on my own photos of this, which might give away a little bit, but that's why the it looks like a photo of a page when I'm going to be sending you the lines, because it is. All right, well, going where you usually send me, let me just show this. Guess we'll just get right into it. Any ideas?
Okay. Not to start with, it looks to me like, it's very spindly here. I can see the orange. I'm guessing this is not Gundam.
No.
It's not Macross, is it?
No.
I'm going to need a little more.
All right.
I'm probably going to need a lot more, is the truth.
Yeah,
but
let's
take this in
do
steps.
another section, and I'm gonna try to kind of paste this roughly where that is.
Uh-huh.
So let's do that.
So I do have the sneaking suspicion that you could post the entire image and I would have no idea. But
I mean, that is entirely possible. Yeah.
I'm trying to
Okay.
think of...
Do you want me to give you like what kind of media it's from?
Yes,
because it's a mecha,
yes.
but it's not from an anime. It is from a video game.
Okay.
1980s video game.
Oh, so I've got no shot, you're saying?
Maybe. I mean, this is like this is like a known robot, and it does have multiple incarnations. This is the original incarnation that I am using the pictures of.
Is it a shmup robot?
No, it is not a shmup.
Oh boy.
Let's throw... I don't think it's going to help you, so let's just throw in an arm and part of the torso there.
Oh, I like it.
Uh-huh.
I like what I'm seeing.
Let's go a little lower, I guess, but yeah.
Oof. This isn't a BattleTech adaptation of some sort, because you wouldn't phrase it like this if it was.
No, definitely not. Hold on here. One more funny thing I think I could just take a picture of that might help, or maybe not. I don't know.
The worst part is I clearly know this artist.
Yeah?
Well,
yeah, this is an artist we've talked about for sure.
Let me...
Hell, we've talked about this artist quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna move these so they're all in frame.
Oh yeah, sorry. I knew that one was out of frame, but I was like, oh, let's Six mess with that.
Is this... is this Nagano?
No. It is funny just it is fun just throwing pieces on a board and seeing if someone can get it.
It's okay. What's that thing called? Is this Blassty?
Yes! Yeah! There we go. So, you got...
Have we done Blassty?
I don't think we've done
No,
Blassty.
I think you've shown me some pictures of like some of your models before.
Yeah,
So
but I looked
yes,
up Blassty
okay.
Mechanista because I was like, this sounds like something that would have had a request, but I really don't remember it having a Mechanista episode. Yes, so this is Cruise Chaser Blassty. This is my... Again, apologies for it being a little warm in color, but it is a photo of the art book, because that's the only way I had to get this.
I mean, hey, it took me most of the design, but I'm proud I got it.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I wonder if the 80s... See, I thought the 80s mecha thing with many incarnations might give up the game.
I didn't know Blassty was a game.
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, okay.
No,
yeah.
I thought it was some anime I'd never seen.
No, it's Square Enix's first RPG.
Wow.
Or, Squaresoft's first RPG. Yep. With arrangements by Uematsu. This is an important thing. Some people will credit it as his first soundtrack. He did some arrangements, but he's not the main composer. He rearranged some soundtrack songs that were like on this weird extra disc that came with the game, because this is the era that when you buy a game and it comes in a cardboard box and has a bunch of extras in there, including this art book. This art book that I have right here is originally it came with the game. My version of it is a reprint that was done for the Motoroid. It just comes with the same modern reprint of the manual, which is really cool because the manual has all the different mecha from it. I figure today we will simply talk about the Blassty, especially because it has, I want to say 4 primary incarnations, but it gets referenced a lot.
Okay, this is not Nagano.
No.
This is not Izubuchi.
No. Same era as those two, but not either of them.
Is it Akitaka?
Yep, Mika Akitaka did this original design.
Okay, that was a shot in the dark.
Yep. He did the original design. So, fun fact about this game, since you brought up the anime thing, the reason this has such good designs is Sunrise, if I remember right, I don't know who pitched it first, if it was Square or Sunrise. All I know is ultimately it was like, hey, what if we basically started making like the sete and whatnot like we were what if we put together the stuff like we were going to make an anime? They ended up not making an anime or anything out of it. It's just the game. The game is a first person, it is a wizardry. It is a dungeon crawler.
Oh, weird.
Uh-huh. Because I mean this is predating what year is this game? Let me actually see. Cruise Chaser Blassty, because it's a PC 88 title. Came out 1986, April 30th. Wow. Which, that means it predates original Dragon Quest. This is before the JRPG really exists. So,
hey, it's insane that this got on Motoroid.
Yeah. I mean, it has popularity for being, Square's first RPG and whatnot, but the fact that they...
Has it ever been re-released in any form?
Yes.
Really? Okay,
there was an advertisement... Well, okay. It is re-released in Japan on PCs, which means in the West there's no information about it. But I know for a fact that one of the little copies that came with the Motoroid, it actually has like an ad copy for a re-release of it that you could buy on some service.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't know I had a Sharp X1 port. That's really funny. But yeah. Okay. So apparently, there was even an Project EGG, a licensed emulator for home computer games, has Cruise Chaser Blassty in its limited edition classic PC game collection, alongside The Death Trap, Will, The Death Trap 2, Alpha, and Genesis. Other Square games that were released between 1984 and 1987. And they also released it for a web-based emulator May 2nd, 2014. Anyway, as someone who's played the game is tough. It is a first-person dungeon crawler. Obviously, you don't have a party. You are playing as Blassty. So there's no in-game map, which, that's kind of common in the era. What isn't as common is the maze that you are exploring very frequently is outer space. Which means there's a lot of you just walking through blank spots of outer space. There is a,
Sure.
There is, like, a thing that lets you, I think it displays your, like, X and Y coordinates. There's, like, it's like a debug feature that they left in. And I cannot imagine playing the game without that, if I'm being honest. But for a PC-88 game, it even has some wild animations. I know we can't show them on the video really, but I can send one to you. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Oh god. Oh no, Discord eats this. Because there's transparency in the background, so it's like, or it's loading a transparency.
It still gets the idea across for me. It looks fine.
Yeah, it's for a 1986 game on the PC-88. It actually has animations, which is wild.
This is cool looking.
Here's like me using the Vulcan there, and it fires like a bunch of little micro missiles out of the arm, I guess is the implication, even though it's called Vulcan. But yeah, so it's a weird game. The designs are by Mika Akitaka though, and they're really cool. So the Cruise Chaser Blassty is the main design of the game. It is a transformable mecha, hence its really strange looking legs. I love this transformation. I guess, you know what? Let me go over the design first. Sorry, I'm not used to like leading so much, and I'm like, wait a minute, I should talk about what the design looks like. So, starting with the head. The head is pretty standard mecha head in some shapes, like compared to what we've talked about. It has a mohawk camera on top of it. It has a frontal brow ridge that protrudes forward pretty far, colored in dark blue. Then it also has some armor going around the head and around like the cheek area. The face is just a plain white plate, and then the eyes, it has a red visor for the eyes. Then one other detail on the head, it does have an asymmetrical antenna. The left side of the head has an antenna sticking up, going towards the back. The head,
yeah, nice big blade antenna.
Mm-hmm. The head is pretty deeply inset into the torso. The torso is 3 sections, arguably. You've got a right pectoral, a left pectoral, and a central area. The right pectoral is the mounting point for the Blasty's huge cannon here. The cannon is on like a little arm in there, and it can move up and down. It has a little handle you can see at the end of the gun that can pop down for it to grab. And then it also has 2 cables going into the vent below, and the vent itself is like in a, standard Gundam area. But instead of being an actual like vent there, it's an opening that has the cables going into it. So it's probably just like, maybe it's like direct access to the generator or something. And then on the left side, we have the cockpit.
Yeah.
On the above. It is a cockpit that is, it's kind of bulbous. It's basically the front of a ship, like a shmup ship, just put onto the left side of the torso there. It's even got like, a little blue window on there that you can see through. And then the lower torso, so the central is just white armor on the top. And then the lower torso, the way it's like plugged into this upper segment is the middle, you've got red armor running down the very middle with white on either side of that. And then you've got these large, like, they feel like intakes or something. They don't really feel like they'd be thrusters necessarily. But, there's these big scoops on the bottom of the torso that are just big and open. Which is really fun because rather than having like the big square connection, it actually has a very thin connection for like the torso and the waist here, which I think is really cool. The waist has no skirts. It's just a middle crotch piece that is just like a big wedge in there. It's got right across the front of it, and it does have some thrusters on the back of it, but no skirts or anything really on it. The legs are plugged directly into that. Sorry to talk about the waist and the torso together. I know I normally don't do that, but I just wanted to because, like, you can see that it's just kind of like they are almost just one piece, basically. Like, it can rotate on that, but it looks a little awkward when it rotates, even if it can technically rotate on that, because it's like this, it's just two wedges together. For the arms, pretty standard shoulder armor. The fun thing with these arms, though, you'll notice the arms actually are pretty far out there. Like the distance between the arm and the torso. They're kind of, rather than the shoulder armor being like normal shoulder armor, it's more like the arms are plugged into the sides of these shoulder units themselves, like from where they're already sticking out, rather than them covering like a shoulder. It gives us like really weird shape. The bicep armor, though, just white armor. It has a little bit of flat on the front. It's more rounded on the sides, but nothing really crazy there. Standard kind of double joint going on. The forearms, mostly white armor. You've got these little bumps of armor around the base. You also have a bit of it, like, the top armor of the forearm is open, so you can see the, like, inner mechanics of the joint there, which is kind of fun. And then the bottom sections of the forearm, you've got these little attachments on the elbow area, and then inside of those you have these like little, almost like claws that are jutting forward and curving up a little there. And then,
but I believe, are these not the shield projectors?
Because
on the Moderoid, you can see that the orange bit here of the shield, which we haven't talked about yet, but the orange bit of the shield is transparent, sort of to indicate seemingly that it's like a energy shield.
Yes, but these are not. So this is right. Yes, you're right. You're right. I forgot about this with it. Duh. Because even though I have the motor, I just looked at it like physically in my room. I'm like, oh right, that is what that is. Yeah. So these like double claws can split, and it's kind of hard to see in this image. You can see it a bit there, right, on the left arm. Like these are the claws that are split. But basically,
they sort of like they fold to the side and then split apart.
There's and then they generate like a little energy shield in the middle of them. I totally spaced on that part. Because we'll be talking about the version of the Blassty I think about more, because funnily enough, even though this is the original, this is not the one I actually think about the most. But yeah, so thank you for catching that. So yeah, these little claws, though, are basically just shield projectors. We only ever really see it using the one on the left, but theoretically it has one on each arm. Then for the hands, they're just large hands in blue. Blue armor, blue fingers, everything. Again, sorry for the colors in the picture, it's just much like how I have Flux on, my room light is also warm, unfortunately, because it makes me have less headaches, and also I find it more comfortable than white light. So I tend to have more yellow shifted lights in my room. Or, they're not... Oh yeah, sorry.
I like that on the Moderoid, it's really, like, the shield is made specifically to be translucent but not transparent. I really like the effect of it kind of, like, blurring and making indistinct everything behind it.
Yeah. It's honestly neat. It's one of the little painted parts. It's an interesting Motoroid, because I'm gonna be honest, it's an older one, it's not great. Specifically, the leg construction is really awkward. Like, these thighs here are basically, the white armor is just two plates that are slapped together with like a one piece on the inside, and then these lower legs is again just basically three white pieces sandwiching, and then like the foot plugs into it. They're really weird. It just doesn't feel good, and also in order to have the cables and everything, it doesn't have very much range of motion on these legs either.
Sure.
But, I mean, it's a very old Motoroid, actually, funnily enough. I think it originally came out... It was 2020, which, my brain says 2020 is not that old, but no, for Motoroid, the technology has been moving pretty quick overall with them. Like, a 2026 era Motoroid versus a 2021 feels like night and day. But, anyway... Huh. Moving on to the rest of the legs, though. So the upper leg armor is kind of thickly armored around the front and back. You can actually see it's got this interesting shape where, like, the front top and back armor is like a little, like, it's like wrapped around, is what it looks like an extra layer that's wrapped around the leg. And then
Yeah.
I like that the armor, like, that is actually on the side of the leg is very rounded. It's almost like it's like molded around, like the armor itself was molded around like the mechanical joint on the inside there. It's a cool look. I don't know. It's such a like weird specific thing, but I really like it. And then as you mentioned when you were trying to do the guess, these legs are very thin. Basically just have these big white rectangular legs going down. They have a lot of panel lining on the inner leg. Funnily, the outer and back, not really anything. But the front, you have 2 little tick marks. And then on the inner thigh, you have all these like little like panel lines just running down it, which is really nice. The lower leg is... it's funny because I made fun of how the Motoroid build it, but it is essentially like 3 plates bolted together. It is... You have this, the inner plate for these calves... And it goes all the way down, and they kind of form a bit of a heel, because this thing doesn't really have feet. It's the legs are kind of like a weird mono unit, and it has like a toe piece that can like have a little bit of left and right like wiggle movement, but
we get a bottom view of them from the Motoroid, and I really like how they look.
Yeah. So they essentially though these legs are doing, they're just kind of a combination of. When we've had thruster legs in Gundam, it's just doing it in a way that is disguising itself as a foot. But as you can see, it's just 2 rockets basically in the bottom of it, which is really cool. You have these big knee parts also. For the midsection, you have these large knee parts. They're red on the front, white armor on the sides, and they are movable up and down and stick out pretty far. The middle of the calf plate, you've got red armor on the front, white on the side to match the knee. And then for the middle foot section, it plugs into like not quite the bottom of the foot, but you have this big red plate of armor that is shifted forward. And the red plate, again, it's like a pseudo foot because I mean it's for stability when standing ostensibly, but it doesn't really stand. I mean, this thing's mostly used in 0G anyway. But yeah. And then for the outer leg, pretty similar to the inner leg in design. A little more flat on the details. It's actually really funny that the inner leg has all like the little extra panel lining detail, but then like the outer doesn't really have that going on there.
Yeah, pretty out of character for most. Well, not out of character. It's out of fashion. Usually, you want to do those details on the outside. But I guess just because it's going to be a sprite, and this is the way it's going to be standing. This is what you'll most commonly see.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
And then the outer armor on for the lower part is like kind of like on the Mark II or the Hyzak when you have those thruster pods are all on the Alex, but it's very tall. It reaches all the way to the very bottom of the foot armor or the leg armor, and then has like a bit of red housing a little extra thruster that's facing out. And then finally the backpack. So it's not really much of a backpack. There is like this large wedge in the back of the torso that has some red running down the very back middle of it and a little thruster on the top. You have these 2 vernier pods that are attached onto the actual like wedge there of the torso, and these are movable. And they're just kind of, a large pod. The color of them, they just go with gray on the like the Motoroid, if I'm remembering right. Yeah. They're just kind of gray, but they do have kind of more of a greenish color in this art. Even minus my warm lighting, you can tell that's not quite the same as like looking at the wrist parts, where those are more like black, like dark gray.
Yeah.
Just interesting, but and there's 2 thrusters on the bottom of each of those pods, and then each of those pods themselves has an additional circular pod attached, which this is like probably like the most prominent thing on a lot of the Blasties is having the cannon and then these circular pods on the backpack. These circular pods are really cool because they can rotate on the base, but then that halfway area they can also rotate. So like that thruster, there's a thruster that in its default state is actually facing forward, like pointing forward along with the head and whatnot. And then the second half of it, there's a red half, which is the one facing front by default, and then there's the darker half, which has one facing like down and back by default. It's able to rotate on the middle of this ball here, so it can have both of them fire forward, or it can even rotate this part back, so it can have them both fire backward. I just think it's really cool the way that it like has all these like rotating verniers on it there, and it's got one on each of those parts. To discuss more detail on the gun, since I kind of left it for last, it's a very large cannon. It's white on the top, gray on the bottom. You've got this really big scope that is like located in the middle. It's very funny because like when you're actually seeing it standing, like you can kind of see it there. Like this middle section here just is aligned with the head, like in the middle of the body. And it big red scope. It's got all these like little antenna dingy doos on them that I really like, and it's just a cool gun. It's just like, what if you had a big cool cannon just integrated into your torso? I really like it. It doesn't really. So in the game, you're buying the parts in the game, right? Like you are buying weapons for it, and like abilities for the Blassty. It does have a beam saber in that, and the Motoroid does come with that the beam saber design. I don't know. It doesn't have a storage option. Like even on the Motoroid, they don't have a storage option for the beam saber, so I don't know where it's kept. Like by default, clearly no one does, because like I said, it's basically if you don't have it equipped on the Motoroid here, it doesn't go anywhere on the body. It doesn't store anywhere.
Yeah.
I do like the beam saber design. It's kind of a standard Gundam beam saber. However, it has a little fist guard on the front of it, which I think it's just one little thing that makes it look really neat to me. Also, maybe the stiffest beam saber piece I've ever built, because rather than using the softer plastic for the beam saber, it's using the same hard clear plastic as like the shield. And I kind of get why. Sure. It's because they're not mass producing this. This is a beam saber that is only with the Blassty kit. Motoroids generally, unless it's like within the same series, they're not going to make like a universal like beam saber part or whatever. The way that Gundam, when you buy a high grade, it's a universal beam saber part. So it's just really funny that it's made out of the more expensive, but also like more brittle kind of plastic. Just because it's not, again, you just don't really get that with beam sabers, right? Like even like non-Gundam kits, I think, like I'm trying to think of like the Kodo ones I have. I even think they tended to use soft plastic. Anyway, yeah, so it's got a beam saber though, which it's a beam saber. Trying to remember any other like weapons. A lot of them are weird in the game. Again, like I sent you the Vulcan video, and like it just kind of punches the arm forward and fires a bunch of like what appear to be like micro missiles, even though it's called a Vulcan.
And even though in the thing it looks like it's two screens, because there's the screen of what the Blasty's doing, and then there's the screen of what's happening to the enemy. Yeah. When it's hitting the enemy, you see a stream of micro missiles, but what happens from the Blassty is like a beam of fire. So
it's really strange. But and then there's also the quote unquote bombs, which I'm sending you these. These appear to be coming out of the top of this backpack, but again, there's nothing, like there's no hatches or anything, but that's where they appear to be firing from. I again, theoretically, it could be explained as in-game, when you're buying these parts, it's like mounting them on there, and the art is just like the stock Blassty design, like what it looks like at the start of the game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you're making something for a video game, especially a 1986 video game, there are going to be concessions for these kind of things. Now, speaking on weird weapons that this is revealed to have, so we've looked at the Blassty normally, and then as I brought up, it has a transformation. So the transformation it's not super duper complex, really. So the torso just kind of collapses completely. Let me get a good picture, because I have pictures of my model as well. Well, actually, I have the actual Cruise Chaser Blassty Motoroid page up.
Same, I got it.
Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, so you can see like the chest cockpit is still facing up. The torso, the way it folds into itself, if I'm remembering it right from when I transformed the Motoroid, it does do some parts forming. It does have a little bit of cheating. You like remove the head and neck piece so that you can finish folding the torso. The idea is it's supposed to tuck in, but they're not doing that on a 2020s era Motoroid. But yeah, other things that this does, so the legs kind of fold to the side and the arms are punched back. The way the arms are punched back, they're kind of like right under the thruster pods on the backpack. And the way that the legs have popped up onto the sides here, I love that, like, when they are... So, first of all, the legs tuck into the vernier pods there. Like, the big round ones from the backpack, which I think is fun. Like, now, again, this is doing parts, a little bit of parts forming on the actual model kit, but, you know, it looks good here. The other thing that's really fun is it reveals that there are hidden cannons inside of the gaps of the legs that pop up and aim forward when it's like this. So they're just kind of hidden in the leg by default, like telescoped down, and then, you know, when the legs are bent like this, there's enough room for them to be able to pop out. And it's a cute little ship. It's really funny that you can still tell it's a mecha because, like, these wings sections are really fucking weird. Like, it's still obviously a mecha, but it's not doing, like, the usual crimes. Ironically, I just realized, you know what transforms very similar to the Blassty for Gundam stuff? It would be the Phantom Gundam. Which might sound ridiculous, but then, if we look at the Phantom and we look at its transformation, it kind of does the same transformation. The legs pop out to the side, the arms are punched back, the waist is, you know, tucked below with the torso, like, folding down in front. I don't know, it's just, it's funny that they are kind of similar in overall idea. Now, the Blassty looks much better, but... It's just funny to me that I was like, this isn't a standard Gundam transformation, but there is something within Gundam that does this kind of weird thing.
I mean, I think the orbs on the back do a lot for the shmup form.
Yes, for sure. Well, it helps fill out the body a lot, and it adds like a unique shape that you're not really seeing, like in a different part of the body of the shmup form. But yeah, so that would be the Cruise Chaser Blassty. It is the main design of Blassty. It is the hero. I'm trying to remember what the story is, because the game doesn't really have any translations as far as I'm aware. But, you know, I've read summaries while I was playing the game just to see what the gameplay is, because I know enough Japanese that I can play the gameplay. I just can't, you know, read the story fluently. I believe it's like, the humanity is sequestered to these, like, little colonies that are out in space, and there's, like, this is kind of a gameplay explanation, too. They cannot exit these sectors of space because once you reach a certain point, there's, like, this, like, debris or this, like, weird radiation, basically, that creates, like, an impassable wall. I don't know if it's impassable because it's actually impassable or impassable because you go in it and it kills you, but, you know. Basically, when you're out exploring in space, there are, like, limits to how far humans can go. And you're kind of going from station to station. Spoiler for the game, the twist of the game is that the rebel group that you're fighting against is actually the good guys, and the group you were originally fighting for and exterminating the rebels with are actually, like, being, like, manipulated by aliens that are trying to keep, like, they kept humanity, like, restrained to, like, a very specific part of space for unknown reasons. And I think the game even ends with a bit of a cliffhanger. But then, you know, they never made a follow-up to it. Well, kind of. There is a different Cruise Chaser Blassty we can talk about now. And this is the one I really like. It'll be faster to talk about overall because it's, you know, it shares a lot of similarities with the design, but this is the Blassty from the, is it Hobby Japan? I believe it's Hobby Japan, who did the story. And there was a serialized novel in the modeling magazine for Cruise Chaser Blassty. Seemingly completely unrelated to the game's story. And has a new design. The design here is by, I know his name. Give me 1 second. Shit. Oh, I'm spacing on it. That's gonna drive me nuts. Is it... Oh, Masahisa Suzuki. Masahisa Suzuki is known for... he's done a lot of, like, little things. He mostly does light novel illustrations. If you've ever seen, like, Ariel, the big robot girl, that's one that he does the illustrations for instance.
Have I?
This girl? She looks like a robot, but or she looks like a girl, but she's a giant robot. Yeah. It had, like, 2 OVAs or something. That's, like, the biggest touchstone I can think of, because everything else is basically untranslated light novels and stuff. Except, while not translated, he did draw our good friend, the G-Savior, and Mark Kieran here. So, there's that. He did...
G-Savior looks good there.
Yeah, it does look good. I think he's a really good artist. He has some conceptual work that he did for CCA, but I don't know if he's ever done any finalized designs for Gundam or anything, which is surprising, because I think he's a great artist. I really like his work. But, yeah, so this Blassty is the one that I really like. This is the design I fell in love with. Here's the illustration. It's got different colors in different media. The model went with the more understated kind of blue colors, which I like. There is a tricolor one, as can be seen here. There are, like, minor variations on the design, like, the differences here. But basically, the head is a bit more sleek. You've got less of a visor, and the eyes are more, like, narrowed. You've got... also, I should note, it has actual, like, eyes. Really easy to see in this picture, even though this is also, like, slightly different proportions, because, different modelers for the magazine making different scales of model every month, but you can see there's the cockpit, and then there's the head to the right of it. I do love, the idea of you can look to the right of you, and you just see the head of the mecha. Like cool. That. But yeah, you can, and it still has, like, the antenna, though. Like, it retains a lot of the overall same ideas, it's just a different design. It's a lot more rounded on a lot of the armor here. Like, the chest armor, very rounded on the front. You've got the cockpit still on the left side. It's a bit more narrow and, like, even more like a shmup fighter. Like, it looks like you took an R-Type's cockpit and just threw it on there. On the right side, no more cables, unfortunately, but I will admit the lack of cables actually makes the gun way easier to maneuver. It does have, like, a little, you can see in the model here, its version of it, like a little, what would you call it, like a hydraulic rod that goes in there, but, it doesn't have all the extra cables. And then for the arms are, like, a major change. So the shoulder, forearm, and lower arm, shoulder, I guess you would say bicep and lower arm. I was like mid-arm? No, the bicep and the lower arm. They are all, like, of a piece together with their armor because they're designed to be collapsible. They collapse down into a very, like, sort of triangular shape. But they do have a separation, and you can see that each separation has its own rotation as well as a bit of wiggle in them. So it doesn't quite have, like... It doesn't have, like, super articulated arms, but it has this, like, really cool thing going on where you can see it here. Like, there's, like, the parts that are, like, collapsed down. Technically, when you buy the model, they just, these are actually 2 separate parts. It's a parts former, but that's fine. If it looks better, it's better to do that. But you can see that, like, it's got rotation and a little wiggle on each section, and then the wrist of the hand can pop out, like, a fair bit to, like, have more inner reach and give the hand a bit more wiggle room. Though these aren't the most articulated hands overall, The hands also appear to have, like, some kind of beam weapon or something built into them. You can see, like, the palm has, like, a little square barrel that, when the hands are open, they have them popped out, and then when the hands are closed, it pops into, like, underneath the palm there, which is really neat. I just like the way that looks, too. Lots of, like, very little fine details on this that I like. And, yeah, then for the crotch, you've got, like, a series of what I presume are thrusters on the front. The legs now are a significant redesign. They're still, like, weird flight legs, but the way they've been done, they're much more wing-like, rather than, like, rocket thrusters, I guess, is how I would put it. Like, you can see that they're still thin. You've got these large knee parts that are, you know, kicked up pretty high on the left leg there, but, you know, the knees are basically like little wings, how they're designed on this model. They even have, like, the little lights at the end that would, you know, blink in space. Then you've got the lower leg is just like a bit, it's a point. It just ends in a point, you know? That, it's just all one armor piece. It has, like, these extra little plates on the sides around the joint, but otherwise it's, you know, it's just a pointy leg with, like, no real outstanding features on it, but in not having any outstanding features, it's unique. And then for the backpack, you've still got, like, the middle section piece. It pops up and protects, like, around the back of the head. And then you've got the little, trying to show them here. You can see them a little. They're like thruster pods, but they're not like Gundam thrusters or typical mecha thrusters. They're like, it looks like a grill underneath it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then attached to each of these, like, little pods is still the giant ball section, and the ball has, like, the outer part of it now has, like, this really fancy winged thruster design on it, which is really cool. Still has the omnidirectional, like, rotation where it can rotate at the base, and then the middle of it can rotate so it can, like, quickly go into different configurations for high-speed combat. And I don't know, this is just, when I think of the Blassty, this is the design I really like. I don't really know what's different in the story. I wish I could give more details there, but honestly, none of the stuff is ever going to be translated. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to just cover it. Because I'm like, you know, it would likely never come up. This one has a very, very clean looking transformation. I love this ship. It just looks so cool to me. But
I think the ship looks really good. I do think that as far as the illustration, when you showed me the like that tricolor illustration, I like that a lot better.
Really? Okay.
Than this model. I don't like, this model is not bad. I don't think I like it that much. I like the core Blassty a lot more, and then that tricolor one more as well.
Okay.
But the shmup form is really, really good.
Yeah. I do think that this design in general, though, like, you know, even with that having, like, a couple of different color schemes and stuff, like this one, something that wasn't on the tricolor one, if you look at the knees below, it colors these thrusters in red. Lots of inconsistent coloring going on with this design, basically, throughout. Now, funnily, if I ever wanted to paint it in the tricolor, I could, because when Motoroid sold this, or when Good Smile sold this, it's under their Playmax line, they had a 2-pack, and the 2-pack, at the time, because this was in 2024, I believe was when the pre-order came up, it was, so normally it's an 8,800 yen kit. The 2-pack is 15,000 yen. I bought the 2-pack, because the idea would be you build one in normal mode and one in flight mode. But for me, my idea is I want to paint one, and then I can have one in the stock colors as well. Sure. But I think doing it in the tricolor would be really fun, honestly, because the sculpt is pretty good here. I think that this is, even though it's Playmax, it doesn't have as much overall color separation. Like, all these stripes are decals. The model is mostly, like, in white for the body, so I understand why that would turn people off. But also, that's kind of the thing. It's Playmax is one of the ones where they expect you to put more elbow grease into them. That's why it's in that line and not Motoroid. But as a posable toy, it's really good. I love messing with this thing. I think it's so cool. I don't think I have the pictures of it, unfortunately, right now. But it's just I really like this machine. Still have the other one unbuilt under my bed because, again, I probably want to paint it. Like, I don't want to. It's not that I would like paint it as I go, but if I'm painting it, I want to like section it out a bit more and stuff. I don't want to just build it complete and then have to take apart parts of it. Wouldn't be my jam. So yeah, this is the incarnation from the like little light novels that were serialized for a while, and then there's 2 other versions I think we have to talk about.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, I'm fine with that. I just am surprised that they keep finding ways to bring up this game that they won't do anything else with.
Well, if you've played Final Fantasy IX, there's a ship in Final Fantasy IX called Ark. It is a boss that you can also get as a secret summon. It is the strongest summon in the game. And let me find it real quick. Trying to get the artwork of it that Nomura did. Where? Why doesn't the wiki have that? Hold on. Give me one moment. I just assumed the Final Fantasy wiki would have everything Final Fantasy. It's usually a pretty good wiki about that kind of thing, but for some reason I'm not seeing the one Nomura art, and that is annoying. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else then. Anyway, here we are. This is the art of the design. And then I will use my own screen caps, because I did do a playthrough and got it. Ark is probably the second most well-known version of Cruise Chaser around. Obviously, there's another version of this design that is much more popular. It's also my least favorite of all of them, though, so we'll talk about it last.
Huh.
But, yeah, so Ark is... it's a Blassty. I don't remember if that codename Blassty thing there was actually said in the game or anything, but, or in, like, in the art, or if that was added on by someone. But, yeah, the Ark is essentially an airship version of Blassty. You've got the asymmetrical cannon, the very obvious like cockpit looking part there on the left, even though it's not really a cockpit probably on this design. You've got the pointy legs. It's Square being like, hey. Oh, and also even look at the shield design here where it's these 2 plates where it's black on the outside and then they've got these bronze plates in the middle of it. And yeah, so you get like a much more fantasy-oriented Ark here, in FF9. The head is, overall, its shape is very similar, but the design itself is much more of it's fantasy armor looking, right? From the head here with the very Nomura-esque pointy head, to the shoulders being these like large welded plates with all these like little parts on them. They look much more like pauldrons than anything that the Blassty would have. And then even the legs have these like side skirts that are, these plates going down with very thin legs there. But yeah. I just
well,
cool.
Fortunately, we might have to. I guess we're giving these separate entries because I'm giving their form separate entries because they have different names. Because why not?
Okay,
for all of these, but especially with this one, because according to the Final Fantasy wiki, there's no way to know whether or not the boss and the summon are the same thing.
Okay,
or if they're different creatures.
You know what? That's a lie though, because you watch when you summon Ark, it literally starts as the airship and then transforms.
That doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
right?
Is it saying that
maybe the boss is just
a second Blassty is in the world? Okay, I see.
Second Blassty is at the tower. Yeah.
Anyway, I love the way it looks in game. when you summon it and it falls from space and transforms. It's just such a cool... It looks so good in the game. I mean, I also am the PS1 graphics liker, so of course seeing a transforming mecha makes me really happy. It has also a ridiculous summon animation, as all final summons are wont to do, where first it fires like all these like missiles upon them first, and then in the field of missiles it charges the beam cannon, and then that fires down on them and annihilates them. I just think this is a really cool summon, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. Now, for the Cruise Chaser that everyone actually knows, unfortunately, there's also Cruise Chaser in FF14, who I think is boring, and I admittedly am extra down on the FF14 one, mostly because a lot of people like it a lot, and I don't like it as much. Here, this is the FF14 Cruise Chaser.
Yep.
My problem with it is, yes, it maintains a couple of little things from the Cruise Chaser that makes sense, right? It's got the asymmetrical cannon, though the cannon is now back-mounted rather than torso-mounted. And it's got, instead of the pods, it's got these, propellers, but it's doing the same idea. But I just think the aesthetics of it are not as good. I don't like the head design as much. The head has been redesigned into having this, like... It's like a tall fin with, like, little winged parts at the end, and then it's got this little visor that is very thin, looks like Cyclops from X-Men visor, and I just don't think the head looks as good. The torso is way more of a standard mecha torso now. It's just an upper body that is all one piece. It's got some gold lining on it with some red dots all over it, and then it's got the midsection, kind of a Nagano-esque midsection where you've got like the many layers of waist armor going into the bottom there. But the shoulders are basically like, they're more Cubile-esque. They have like a very, or actually Quinn Mantha would probably be a better pull for the shape. They're very rounded around the top, but then they end in points at the bottom and they go down pretty far. Elongated bicep, kind of a standard joint there. Forearm armor it's hard to see from many angles because everyone's always got it posed in game, but the forearm armor at the end of it has like these two blades at the end, and it has the hands in there. Crotch piece with armor on the front and back. The rear one is a little longer than the front one. The legs look more like people legs, and this is like probably one of my other problems. Like, yes, the foot at the end is not really a person foot. It has like a high heel with like these little like blades sticking out of the side of them. But overall, I just think this is the most boring design. I don't know. I just don't like it as much. And then
it's kind of insecty. I thought you'd like that.
No. You know what the problem is? It looks... If you told me this was an FF14 design, even if I didn't see anything in it, I'd believe you. It just has, like, the specific,
True.
like, FF4... I don't know what it is about FF14, but everything in it just starts making me go, okay, I can tell this is an FF14 design, and I just don't care. I wish I liked it more, but I do not.
I don't like it either.
Okay. I just feel bad because this is, like, the one that everyone knows. Because, well, 14 is popular.
Mm-hmm.
These wrist blades elongate to do the form here, by the way, which can be seen on this modeler's resource A-posing model of it here. Let's see them extended.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. That I felt the need to mention these two because it still gets Cruise Chaser gets referenced a lot, but admittedly, the last two here were more for funsies. Well, one was for funsies and one was for me to complain.
You like complaining? It's still funsies.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, There are probably other Cruise Chaser Blassty references throughout Square's history. I know for a fact there are ones that my brain is, like, spacing on where I'm like, I'm pretty sure Blassty has come up, like, even if not, like, a robot, like, the name Blassty coming up as, like, a reference. I just can't remember any off the top of my head. But...
It is really, really wild that they're, like, for example, the boss entry on the Final Fantasy Wiki does not mention Blassty even once.
Oh, it doesn't?
It does, however, mention Noah's Ark.
Oh, does it?
It's like, okay,
does
guys.
it reference Blassty in the summon version of it, at least?
I closed that tab. Give me a second to pull it back up.
Because if it doesn't, that would be ridiculous. Is this good?
No. Oh wait, yes it does.
Oh,
okay, it was not in the section I expected it to be in. But yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I was gonna say, is this gonna be like one of those things where the wiki is like extra strict and it's like until someone working on it says this is a reference, it is not a reference. But yeah, Blassty is maybe the most referenced that people don't know what it's referencing, like things in Square video games, which is really funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is referenced a lot, but it is rarely ever, like, I have to imagine most of the time it has to be going over people's heads. This isn't even like me being like, aha, I know the secret knowledge. I just mean, I think even if you're a nerd about Square, you might know Cruise Chaser Blassty is Square's first RPG. Like, that is maybe a factoid you know more often. But I don't know if people know, like, what Blassty is. In terms of, like, the average gamer, or, you know.
Sure, yeah. I highly doubt most people know what Blassty is.
But
I thought I did, and I was wrong.
what did you think Blassty was, originally?
I told you, I thought it was from an anime.
Oh, you thought it was an anime, right, sorry. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I don't know. It's like a weird video game design that I didn't think would get requested anytime soon. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I like Blassty. It would be fun to talk about. Plus, I get to share some...
I like Blassty, and Blassty likes me. Okay. Peace.
Oh, okay. Wait, plugs? Nothing? Peace?